Excellences,
Thank you, Your Excellencies,
Mesdames
distinguished
et
participants,
Messieurs,
ladies and
collègues et
gentlemen,
amis, bonjour. Il me fait
colleagues
un
and
immense
friends.
plaisir
It's an
de vous
immense pleasure
souhaiter
for
la
me
bienvenue au
to
nom de
bid you welcome
l'organisation que j'ai le
on
plaisir
behalf of the
de
organization which I have the
représenter
pleasure
ici
of
à New York,
representing here in New York,
l'organisation des
UNESCO,
Nations Unies pour
the United Nations
l'éducation, la
Organization for
science
Education,
et la
Science
culture.
and Culture.
Et je le fais bien sûr au nom
And
de
I'm
notre
doing this on
directeur
behalf of our
général,
Director
Monsieur
General, Mr. Koichiro Matsuura,
qui aurait vivement souhaité
who
être
would
parmi
very
nous
much like to have
aujourd'hui.
been here with us
Il m'a
today.
demandé
He asked
de
me
remercier
to
très
thank
sincèrement
most
le
sincerely
président de
the
l'Assemblée
President of the
générale
General Assembly
pour tout l'appui qu'il nous a
for
apporté
the great
dans
support he has given us
l'organisation de cet événement.
in
Également,
organizing
bien
this
sûr,
event,
nos
and
amis
also
du département
our
de
friends from
l'information
the
du public,
Department of
et
Public
en premier lieu,
Information,
Monsieur Akio
first and foremost, Mr. Ako
et tous les
Akasaka,
collègues qui ont
and
été
all
à nos côtés pour
colleagues
l'organisation
who
de ce
have helped
séminaire.
us in organizing
Et
this seminar.
finalement,
Finally,
notre collaborateur,
another
la Maison
collaborator,
des langues, pardon,
the House of Languages, Lingua of Barcelona, for your support, not only in organizing this event, but your support throughout the international year. I also like to welcome all the participants, of course, who come from near and far. After this day and a half, you will see the tremendous opportunity which we have, you here, to help us discuss not only what has happened throughout the year, but particularly to see what we can do together to mobilize stakeholders at all levels so that languages can not only be preserved, but can also be a driving force in the protection of our cultures.
This is just one, but of a long series of events, of awareness raising that took place throughout this international year. And shortly after I say these few words, my colleague Rochelle Roca-Hachem will give an overview of some of the activities that took place in this past year. I think that the participants that we have here, the panelists, is a testimony of the far reach of languages in our world today, examining the challenges and the opportunities that globalization poses to languages and multi-languages and multilingualism, and our development can be fostered through their intersection, will certainly be an enriching, educational, and thought-provoking undertaking, and it should provoke action as well. As I said in taking the floor, our seminar is the last of a long series of events in the framework of the International Year of Languages, and there UNESCO was very privileged to be mandated as the lead agency by our member states of the United Nations. Languages events held in cities as diverse as Paris, Johannesburg, Dar es Salaam, Yakutsk, or Tokyo have taken place throughout the year. The common thread of all these initiatives is their aim to convey to decision makers and to the general public alike the messages that language do matters, to raise awareness that languages lie at the very heart of the social, economic, and cultural life of all societies. Our message is, in other words, that the challenge of development cannot be faced without the consideration for linguistic factors and languages policy issues. In fact, language diversity or linguistic diversity is not only inextricably linked to cultural diversity, but it also has a very crucial role to play in expanding access to the benefits of globalization, and also in attaining the Millennium Development Goals. For those of you who are based there and work at the United Nations, you know what are those goals, but let me just remind you that languages are truly important to reach, for example, the important goal of education for all. And I think we will have the opportunity to discuss that in the next day. Languages, or the mastery of literacy skills, is also very important in the prevention of HIV/AIDS, for example, which is another important goal to reach as part of the Millennium Development Goals, as agreed by the heads of states and government, and so on. Moreover, in the capacity as systems embodying local and indigenous language and know-how, languages are strategic in ensuring environmental sustainability. In addition to looking at languages and development through the lens of the public and private sectors, government and academia, our participants are called to propose analysis and to identify strategies and policies through which linguistic diversity and multilingualism can be fostered and languages protected, particularly endangered languages. Multilingual education, and this has been proven by research after research, is very important in this connection. Learning in the mother tongue, particularly in primary school, is extremely beneficial and, in fact, absolutely crucial in the initial learning process and should be encouraged very early on in life. We face a very difficult situation, and we must indeed act urgently. Experts tell us, and we have just mentioned before, that in just a matter of a very few generations, it is believed that up to 7,000 languages that exist today, 50% of those will be threatened of disappearing. So action is indeed very much needed. There are some languages, as many of you know, that are spoken today by just a handful of people. And there is basically, these languages rest on oral tradition. So it is so important to capture these traditions and to be able to preserve and protect them. If we are ready to mobilize and to build a shared vision and common action, there is then hope. And this is the very purpose of that seminar. The very presence here today of government representatives, of representatives of organizations and institutions, private sector, and the public in general is indeed very encouraging and evident commitment to the cause of languages, and encourages us to hope at the United Nations and at UNESCO that multilingualism has a future. The relevance of languages for so many areas explains the popularity and the success of the International Year of Languages. Again, it is my pleasure to wish us all a very good deliberation and good discussion, and to wish you a very warm welcome. Thank you so much.
Merci, Hélène.